Miracles of Life, an autobiography by J.G.Ballard, read by Tim Pigott-Smith. I was born in Shanghai General Hospital on the 15th of November 1930, after a difficult delivery that my mother, who was slightly built and slim-hipped, liked to describe to me in later years, as if this revealed something about the larger thoughtlessness of the world. Over dinner she would often tell me that my head was badly deformed during birth, and I feel that for her this partly explained my wayward character as a teenager and young man. Doctor friends say that there's nothing remarkable about such a birth. My sister Margaret, born in September 1937, was delivered by caesarean, but I never heard my mother reflect on its wider significance. We lived at 31 Amherst Avenue, in the western suburbs of Shanghai, about 800 yards beyond the boundary of the international settlement, but within the larger area controlled by the Shanghai police. The international settlement, with the French concession of nearly the same size lying along its southern border, extended from the Bund, the line of banks, hotels and trading houses facing the Wangpu River, for about 5 miles to the west. Almost all the city's department stores and restaurants, cinemas, radio stations and nightclubs were in the international settlement, but there were large outlying areas of Shanghai where its industries were located. The 5 million Chinese inhabitants had free access to the settlement, and most of the people I saw on its streets were Chinese. I think there were some 50,000 non-Chinese, British, French, Americans, Germans, Italians, Swiss and Japanese, and a large number of White Russian and Jewish refugees. Shanghai was not a British colony, as most people imagine. Shanghai was one of the largest cities in the world, as it is now, 90% Chinese and 100% Americanized. Bizarre advertising displays, the honor guard of 50 Chinese hunchbacks outside the film premiere of The Hunchback of Notre Dame sticks in my mind, were part of the everyday reality of the city, though I sometimes wonder if everyday reality was the one element missing from the city. With its newspapers in every language and scores of radio stations, Shanghai was a media city before its time, celebrated as the Paris of the Orient and the wickedest city in the world. Unlimited venture capitalism rode in gaudy style down streets lined with beggars showing off their sores and wounds. Shanghai was important commercially and politically, and for many years was the principal base of the Chinese Communist Party. There were fierce street battles in the 1920s between the Communists and Chiang Kai-shek's Kuomintang forces, followed in the 1930s by frequent terrorist bombings, barely audible, I suspect, against the background music of endless night-clubbing, daredevil air shows, and ruthless money-making. Every day, the trucks of the Shanghai Municipal Council roamed the streets, collecting the hundreds of bodies of destitute Chinese who had starved to death on Shanghai's pavements. Partying, cholera and smallpox somehow coexisted with a small English boy's excited trips in the family Buick to the country club swimming pool. Fierce earaches from the infected water were assuaged by unlimited Coca-Cola and ice cream, and the promise that the chauffeur would stop on the way back to Amherst Avenue to buy the latest American comics. Looking back, I realized that I had a lot to take in and digest. Every drive through Shanghai, sitting with the White Russian nanny Vera, supposedly to guard against a kidnap attempt by the chauffeur, though how much of her body this touchy young woman would have laid down for me I can't imagine, I would see something strange and mysterious, but treat it as normal. I think this was the only way in which I could view the bright but bloody kaleidoscope that was Shanghai. The prosperous Chinese businessmen, pausing in the bubbling well road to savour a thimble of blood tapped from the neck of a vicious goose tethered to a telephone pole. Young Chinese gangsters in American suits beating up a shopkeeper. Beggars fighting over their pitches. Beautiful White Russian bar girls smiling at passers-by. I used to wonder what they would be like as my nanny compared with the morose Vera. Nevertheless, Shanghai struck me as a magical place. There was always something odd and incongruous to see. A vast firework display celebrating a new nightclub, while armoured cars of the Shanghai police drove into a screaming mob of rioting factory workers. The army of prostitutes in fur coats outside the Park Hotel, waiting for friends, as Vera told me. Open sewers fed into the stinking Wangpu River, and the whole city reeked of dirt, disease, and a miasma of cooking fat from the thousands
Sample complete. Ready to continue?